Rob Aldridge. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing great, doing great. Great musician. First of all, to introduce you to my audience, what a performer, and of course, Mind Over Matters. What an LP, man. We had a chance to preview it out January 21st. First full album since 2018. What a great piece of work, man.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. So where are you coming to us from, Rob?
I'm at home right now. I live in the Florence area of Alabama, right there around Muscle Shoals.
So let's start with that, Rob, with Alabama, right? Because you're from Muscle Shoals.
Yes.
And everyone is raving about Muscle Shoals lately. I mean, my good friend Maggie Rose recorded there at Fame Studios. I mean, for those of us that are not well versed in it, Robin, for my audience, tell us like what makes Muscle Shoals such a special place.
Well, in the '60s, they Rick Hall started, Fame Studios, and it was just it's really an odd sort of thing of events that happened. You had a lot of R&B and black music being recorded here that it just changed things. It brought white, the Swampers, the studio band. They were a bunch of white guys playing with soul, and I think it was maybe Rod Stewart who recorded here, or Paul Simon. I can't remember exactly the right story, but showed up to the studio one day to record, and we're waiting around on the musicians to get there because there was just a bunch of white guys hanging out. And he thought, surely there'll be some black guys showing up to play like this, and they were already there, and but it's just a weird thing, they all the huge hits from that era and beyond were recorded here, but the town itself is home to a lot of world-class musicians who just live here, and it's a quiet little town, but the talent is just unbelievable. And some people say it's in the water, right by the river, and they call it the Singing River, but I'm not really sure. I can't pinpoint it, but I'm really thankful to live here. I've been here about 15 years now, and it seems like since the movie came out, and I've been here a while, the talent has just grown, and there's a lot of people moving here from all over the country here just recently. People from Nashville relocating here, and it's got all the talent without all the hustle and bustle of a big city.
Sure. That's cool. I like that. That's well described, Rob. And we'll get to the new songs in a second, but I want to ask about one of the great things you did this year. One of the, for yourself, for your health, I guess. You stopped drinking, right? Around August.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that. Like, first of all, why did you stop drinking, Rob?
Well, I love drinking, but and I certainly, don't judge anyone who still does. It was a personal decision. Mm-hmm. I unfortunately, our bass player passed away in April.
Sure.
And so I kind of started hitting the booze harder than I normally would, and I just, like a lot of people could probably attest to, you kind of stop paying attention to what you're doing. And we had a lot going on, trying to release the record, trying to prepare for, we did a couple of shows opening for Jason Isbell, and we had all that going on, and I was just drinking every day. And my wife finally set me down and just said, look, we don't have time for this. We don't have money for this. And I, for her and for myself too, I just decided it needed to stop. And, I didn't do it, and I never said never again, but certainly for the time being, and I was going to stop, and I'm coming up on 4 months now, and it's great. I really enjoy it. I feel good. I'm sort of, you get a lot of time back, a lot of time. You underestimate how much time is taken up by drinking, and
sure.
The recovery the next day, or simply just going somewhere. The whole event revolves around drinking or whatever. And so you get a lot of time back. And I, at first was like, what do I do with all this time? Am I bored, and I started putting that energy into productive things,
Right
so
on.
I like it.
I love it, man. Well, congratulations. I think that, your fans and the creative community and everyone wins by it. So congrats there,
Well,
Rob.
thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, absolutely. And, to quickly touch base on it, I mean, you mentioned that your brother your soulmate Stone Anderson there. He passed in April of 2021, of course. Since we're in the holidays, to give it like a different spin, like how are you? Yeah, people are connecting with like the year and their loved ones. How are you remembering Stone at this phase? 8 months after whatever it's been.
The stages of grief of there certainly are stages. I mean, I've lost a lot of friends, unfortunately, to various reasons, but this one was as close as I've ever been with anybody, and had to lose them. But I don't know, I'm kind of remembering different things. I'm thinking back on memories and times we had together, and kind of seeing it from a different perspective, than I did at the time. And he was so wise beyond his years, things he said and did that kind of hit different now in retrospect. But I'm really, kind of approaching it. He was really excited about this record coming out in January. And I'm just, I'm kind of taking a little break for the most part from shows for the rest of this month. And then sort of just approaching it like, come next year, I'm really going to try and honor him and do everything I can to get that record out for people to hear. Cause I think it's worth listening to. It needs to be out.
A wonderful record.
And his parts, thankfully he got everything recorded, and it's some of his best playing and best work, So I'm
absolutely
use it as motivation, to really push and make this thing happen.
Yeah, absolutely. And before we dig into the new record, Matt Ross. I mean, when you had Matt Ross did a heck of a job with what we saw on research here. Is it hard, like when someone is feeling like shoes like that? Because like you said, Stone's bass player really shines in the record. How is that? Like, it got us thinking of like when Charlie Watts died for the Rolling Stones, right? And we were like, man, how can, like, it's not just a talent. You're finding like an intangible to fill those shoes, right?
Yeah, it's, I mean, Matt Ross is a fantastic bass player, and maybe even technically speaking better than Stone was. Stone just brought, an attitude and a vibe to the band that can't be replaced. But Matt is fantastic, and it's weird. You can learn the songs and just like they're recorded and play them exactly right, but you also have to be able to fall into and capture the vibe of a new person. And I want Matt to feel comfortable playing those parts, and I'm not opposed to him, putting his own twist on things, and we're just sort of trying to feel each other out. I mean, we've all known Matt a long time, so it's not
Gotcha.
all that foreign, to play with him. But yeah, it's just it can't help but be a little bit different of a band without Stone.
Right.
But that's okay. I mean, you just have to embrace it and roll with it, because it's really easy to get bogged down thinking about how it's not Stone.
Yeah.
But you can't do that. You gotta keep moving forward, and Matt's doing a great job.
Absolutely. That's cool, man. I love that. Love that. Love that. Now pivoting to the new record, Rob, like we said, like, man, it's going to have a lot of legs because every like 12 tracks, I think it's got no filler. It's just awesome stuff. But like, let's talk a little bit about like one of the themes, right? Was like the Black Lives Matter movement from last year. Really powerful song there. The opener, I believe. But let me ask you about that song, right? Because last year, everybody seemed like everybody was really passionate about the subject, Rob. Do you think that was like an election year thing where everybody was really focused on the same thing, or do you think that there was really like something clicked in people that is going to lead to lasting change?
I think it's maybe even still too early to tell. I know the election has passed. I think all that fueled people going to vote more so than past elections. But at the same time, like I said, it's still a little too early because marches, I don't know if you saw the video we did for Mind Over Manners, but
Sure.
we sort of put together a collage of footage and pictures of the civil rights movement from the 60s, and then put them next to marches happening now. And and after 50, 60 years, we're still dealing with the same issues. I think though we're we're maybe focusing more on the finer points of it. You know, I always felt like the word racism implies like a malicious intent, whereas it's more ignorance for the most part. You know, which isn't stupidity. It's just people don't realize what they're doing or what they're saying. You know, and it needs to be talked about in order for people to understand their actions and their words. If affect people of color or of any ethnicity, you know. And like I said, it's not necessarily that these are bad people who are racist. It's for the majority, it's just ignorance. And so we just need to keep talking about it. And, you know, the song itself was, I took a post-colonialism class in college, and I can't remember the name of the person who said the quote, but talking about colonized people, and I sort of saw it, a lot of similarities between that and what was happening with Black Lives Matter. But he said a colonized person is stuck in an eternal state of beginnings. So I was like, wow, that's heavy. And so I sort of incorporated that line into the song.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. So in other words, there's like no progression, like just like stuck there.
Yeah. Well, it's like they can, you know, they can do all they can to be more like the people that are, you know, telling them how to be. But even if they do everything that's asked of them, they're still a person of color. They still look different, and they're still going to be treated different. And it's just a cycle of inequality and so it just keeps going. So an eternal state of beginnings, like they're always constantly getting started, but never truly being accepted or making any progress.
Right on, Rob. Well, listen, you've been so good with your time, and I think you're going to play a song for us, which we're really excited about. But let me ask you about Poor Taste. Because, man, what a phenomenal song. And by the way, like you sang it with Wanda Wieslawski. But and by the way, the video is phenomenal. People should check it out. Playful vibe. But you know, I love those songs that, like, on first listen, it's like, you know, like Beach Boys, jolly, what's going on, and then you'll read the lyrics and like you want to, like, you know, set your hair on fire. Like those are the good songs, you know. The heavy lyrics deals with, of course, with toxic relationships. Let me ask you this, Rob. Why do you think it is so hard for us, just for humans, for people, to like let go of something that we know is toxic, whether it's toxic friends, toxic lovers, toxic family? Why is it so darn hard, Rob?
I think you have to look internally and ask yourself if you're trying to prove something to yourself, maybe if you're getting some sort of self-worth out of sticking in a toxic relationship. Like, you know, look at what's happening between you and figure out, you know, you might be getting something that you need in a toxic way that you need to find on your own, and you're using that other person to get it. And I think I think relationships a lot of times become habit, you know, and it's hard to break a habit, whether it's smoking or being with someone else. You know, you fall into a routine, and you know, and also breaking up's hard. I mean, you feel like you failed, and, you know, so you hold on in order not to feel like you aren't good enough, you know.
Exactly. So it takes courage. Courage is what Rob Aldridge is telling us. Have courage, people. Love it. Love it. Well, Rob, you said it all. Are you in the mood to play a song for us?
I absolutely will.
Oh, man, what an honor. Thank you.
I kind of was thinking, since I had the drama with my little daughter this morning, I'll play a song I wrote for her. This is called Little Lou.
Thank you.
Hope you enjoy it. Little Lou, you got a true shine. Where the sidewalk ends won't change your mind. Don't be afraid to try on your shoes.
Don't let a man tell you about a woman's blues. Yeah, try to keep between the ditches. No, it doesn't have to be a straight line. I think you'll be fine. I think you'll be fine. When the odds pile up against you, take comfort knowing you're not among the few. And when the hard heads try to squeeze you, and you wanna hide your heart and shield your view, yeah, try to focus on the why. When people are unkind, I think you'll be fine. I think you'll be fine. And if I get one last wish, in the years that I might miss, in the floor on the wood grain, in the drops on the window pane, everywhere you look you'll find a sign that I think you'll be fine. I think you'll be fine. I think you'll be fine.
Absolutely phenomenal. Rob Aldridge, what a lyrics, what a song, what a voice. Man, congratulations. This record is gonna have a lot of legs. We can't congratulate you enough, and happy holidays.
Well, thank you, man. I hope you spread the word. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. We'll see you on the road.
See you, man.